Hello and welcome. And now let's look at the 27th verse, which is the holy city uh, from the book Footprints on Water Spring. Now, this apparent story in verse is based on a friendship while there is no relationships between a rose and a lotus, and it's based in the city of Benares in the Indo-Gangetic plains, and how the rose illuminates the dual dream of there being something spiritual or holy or pilgrimage or austerity or charity, and how it all simply is hierarchical and dualistic. It's the dual dream. Whereas the lotus illuminates how the formlessness alone appears as all form, even the dual dream. And so let's go through some of the verses. In the Indo-Gangetic plains, rain clamor the sacred strains. Here pilgrims visit round the year, perform rites, embrace sacred gear. Being truly charitable, donate amounts admirable to wash away sins and end all strife and find the purpose of this life. Though here torments dust and heat, the pilgrims wish to hear complete life's journey, acquire liberation, and end the rounds of reincarnation. And how it also eliminates that reincarnation implies that there is an individual which is nothing but a dual dream, and to reincarnation, and how time and space are simply an appearance of nothingness while there is no time and no space. Now, in this religious atmosphere, of course, there are two, and how simple and orderly were their parent days with similar events at play, and how they made beautiful flavored kachoris, fillings of flour and for stuffed kachoris, flavored milk, and the other foods of that ilk. And but in slicing, grating, lighting fire, the mundane, the unique did transpire, and the whole existence seemed present in the daily acts of existence. And now, how valued is the delightful is their food, and how they're valued in they're popular with for their chart and tea. And now, one evening over snacks and tea, they gossiped in tones carefree about an incident of pilgrims in fight, and how division the mind does delight. And the rose fervently did rebel, lucidly spoke of the self's spell. Selfish is the pilgrim's mind, which blindly follows rites defined, performs pilgrimage in austerity to fulfill needs of posterity, gain in name of charity, have added popularity in their social rank and role as a benevolent sacred soul, relates experiences the pilgrim to everyone verbatim, unconsciously sustains spiritual banners, or constantly seeks new clamor to be different from the rest, for it desires to be noticed, as it's lost in ignorance of mind's restless divergence. Then the rose speaks about pilgrimage and charity along with forced austerity. Self esteem does enhance in a self's patterned dance. For pilgrim and donation are seeming acts, but the perception attached to the activity indeed enhances captivity. Firstly, it hierarchy does observe, an elitist view does reserve, while it fabricates a pyramid where another's always timid. Then pities ones in low states, subtly seeming the self does elevate. Then it claims to bestow aid with illusory ownership laid, to balance feelings of guilt, while unchanged remains what's built. Then feels it deserves heaven's entreats, for its life spiritual and complete. But life is not an investment for striving, seeking reimbursement. Aren't the pilgrim's sins redeemed only in waters of deceptive dream? Now the lotus, she's very calm, and the rose goes on to expose if genuine was the donor's concern, why would publicity they yearn and publicize in ways clever? They're partaking in grand endeavors. All seems to be an ego trip, blooming in the facade of authorship. For if they can't calm their inner desire, how will they sate the world's desires? So, pity, help, support, and aid abet individualism and grades, and distribution, charity, or service at their root offer bliss to the donor's mind alone, maybe to the donor's transient tone. Compassion and care without ownership is rare, for they don't divide or compare, but reveal the pretentious flair Slay the division of self, other, the separation. Solely the act alone, no ownership to the act on, or to feel the fulfillment on helping those in predicament, or no one to possess the treasure, but life alone beyond measure, rather no one behind the act, or recognition of the fact that none's to have volition, to give, receive, no partition. Simply embracing, sharing, being, the one alone thus appearing, this is true compassion and care, an appearance that is rare, akin to the sun, water, soil, the sky, that do not seek benefit or act high, or split life in graded forms, or pretend to humbly perform. For nature doesn't do charity, it just is fulfillment in parity, the utmost reverence for energetic appearance. And it goes on saying, Lotus aren't the natural resources everyone's right to the fabric course and system of society has ruined the propriety of living, greed insatiable in the name of the factual. A fascism, this division illusory, which then tries to unite the delusory or rouse the beings ignorant and raise awareness of self's predicament. The, so she goes on and on and on. And then, of course, she quotes Kabir as well, that no wonder Kabir did not want to die in Banaras. Now, no wonder Kabir did not want to die in Banaras, all customs did defy, stated, Kabir, the doorway to be freed is minute, one tenth of a mustard seed. The while the ego is like an elephant, massive, how will it make through the passage? Yet these ignorant pilgrims believe the Banaras heaven does achieve. Anyway, so, and then she says, it's all a business. This business to transcend or merging of the soul is to become one whole. It's like, and this business to transcend or merging the soul in one to become whole is like a belief of yesteryear of the earth flat and not a sphere. If there's an all pervasive soul, can it be curbed in souls with rules? Atma? And which part defines the whole? Can the whole merge in the soul? Isn't a soul as distinct entity, striving to blend in the cosmic identity, or seeking consciousness infinite, or the self without a limit, like looking for the edge of the universe, or scanning rhythms in blank verse, or searching for the city of Benares in the temples, lanes, and the ghats humongous, while Benares is a mere label and not a unit stable. Now, of course, she goes on and on, like saying that, so aren't all these labels of caste, class, or religious fables conferred by the, like, now the lotus is the calm one, and she says everything is simply an appearance of nothingness. Even the self, even the apparent unfulfilledness, even the apparent hierarchy, even the apparent whatever that seems to appear is that. And then this is how she says. Now, the lotus considerately they say, yeah, one love alone is this display. Complete is the incomplete fashion to thus see pure compassion. Exact is your examination of the constitute self's pretension, where it seems to continuously seek. But the self that's the disconnection with alive energetic manifestation is a display of one alone, of nothingness alone, a performance that's unknown, for life appears as its own pretense and doesn't feed a semblance. Thus, the pilgrims seem to follow rites to fill darkness made of life and understand the scriptures, the dual or non dual features. But the pilgrim's version of this verse is neither noble nor worse. So it's not, self is not bad, self is not wrong. It's simply what is, it's simply an appearance of nothingness. For nothingness energetically is appearing as this solitary. Rose, there's no pilgrim mind or the individual confined. Each form is boundlessness that's free. No inner, outer, only energy. As the appearing form without the defined norms, or appears life without a sect, So life is as it is. What is? Now, then she goes on that I won't read out this one. Yeah, this half I'll read out. Though this appearance we see seems the play of traits three, yet there are no physical traits, but energetic life in seeming gait, appearing as what is, with none performing. It's not a screen, separate on all which appears, but formlessness as formed gears, where like a puppet dance, displayed is a stance, where appears ignorance or a stance indifferent, or destroyed is ignorance by radical interference, but all roles the one does play, illuminating its own clay. Volition too is an appearance of oneness in its play of instance, like the display of the sun, rising and setting, an illusion. So, Rose, there is no world to save. None is to good or bad behave. All rises in this innocence, empathy, coldness, ignorance. So, dear, the vulnerability, the fear, and the servility is spirituality too, not just the fearlessness in view. And isn't life seeming experience complete grace? Now, she says, and Kabir mocked traditions to show they feed time separation, and that beliefs hold true until they are swapped by beliefs new. Yet he did not possess a talent to impose, insult each errand, each errand. His message is deeper, profound. It stresses the presence abounds. This, where nothing does begin or end, where there is no captivity and none exists to transcend, where there is no captivity but freedom with no identity, embracing even the divisional, simply that which is the eternal, the infinite empty skies, where rises all life without allies, a love exhibiting its essence as semblance in presence, as presence or absence. So then, of course, she asked, I won't give the apparent end out, and so you can read the rest of the verse, but it's a long video anyway. And see you next time. Thank you.